Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host. Today I have Lisandro Serra Delmar, based out in United Kingdom. He is the founder and creator of Gaucho Ninja. Lisandro, welcome to the Stretch podcast.
Hi, Ian. A pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much. I'd love to ask you. I know you seem to be a fan and you love the ninja theme. Gaucho Ninja is the brand. What is the meaning behind it? How did you get inspiration into creating this brand?
So Gaucho Ninja is quite a biographical name in a way, because Gaucho is the Argentinian cowboy, and my great grandfather was a gaucho in Argentina back in the 1920s, and he was a saddler when he was from 17 onwards. And back in those days, horses were the main mean of transportation, and a saddlery was an important part in this context. And I somehow inherited this tradition for appreciation of leather and quality made products out of leather. I've been drawn to create with my hands and to make things that will last. That a saddler was known by doing things that would last, because riding a horse is quite a demanding operation for all the harness and the saddle. It has to be well done. So that's kind of my inheritance. I'm the fourth generation with leatherwork skills. My great auntie was a shoemaker. My father was an artist, and he played with leather when he was young. But I didn't have a teacher, so all of this was through my own research and hitting my head against a wall until I start opening some light. And the ninja is a passion of mine. I'm a 10th dan ninja practitioner. I teach here in this space, which is my workshop where I make the shoes, is just behind that wall over here. And on this side, I have the dojo where this area here in the back is the temple, the Kamidama up there, where all the inspiration comes in reality.
That's awesome. So I grew up in Japan. I was born there till I was 8. So
No way. Whereabouts?
Yeah. So I was born in Tokyo, and then I grew up in Osaka.
So that's amazing, Ian. So the grandmaster is Masaki Hatsumi. He's in Chiba-ken, not far from Tokyo.
Okay, yeah, Chiba. Okay, yeah. Okay. Have you been to Japan?
Yeah, many times to train with the grandmaster. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And so for me, the Japanese culture and aesthetics have been my inspiration during all my life. And in fact, the reason I started making barefoot shoes, it was because of
the tabi shoes. Yeah,
the tabi. So this is how I started making shoes. So this concept of footwear, where you have expanded toes, absolute connection with the environment, all the footwork that you gain through training martial arts, making them in leather. Traditionally, Japanese, they are made out of fabric. So making them in leather for longevity. That's how I connected the two traditions of the gaucho and the ninja. And that was about 16 years ago.
Okay. So 16 years ago, you got into barefoot shoes, started the brand Gaucho Ninja, correct?
Without knowing that there was a thing called barefoot shoes. It was through my own understanding of how my feet work. And until a point, I created Gaucho Ninja in 2015 or 11 years ago. And I was doing this from a hobby to a business, and open an Etsy shop when I was living in Spain at the moment. And that led me into creating more variations of these tabi footwear, make them Jika tabi format, so it's a tall boot, and then putting soles. Then people wanted, can you do it like Chelsea boots? I did Chelsea boots. I did many variations of tabi. Until one customer, he was inventor and a doctor. He contacted me. He bought me 15 pairs of different tabis. He was like absolute fun. And he said, can you make me a shoe with this feeling of the tabi? but not with the split toe. Just so I developed what is the chaka, the first chakas I made, and they were like the pals that you have there, like the barefoot pal. That was my first design on a normal shoe, yeah, which had that quality of super flexible. So that is inspired on the tabby. So that
Okay.
is translated a tabby shoe into a normal shoe. And I didn't know about shoe lasts or about grading or about footwear constructions. It was all through my own hands and research. And I sent him the first pair, and the next day he sent me an order for 8 pairs. I said I want 8 pairs paid in advance, and he said I want them refined and refined and refined. And because he was an inventor, he was also giving me feedback, and I want this, I want that, and give me. So that's how I started promoting this type of shoes. Then I learned that there were brands like Vivo Barefoot, or I didn't know anything about a functional footwear. And then I started reading a functional footwear. This is what I do. It's exactly it. Flat, foot shaped, flexible, and it led me to create more and more variations and different methods using traditional techniques. I am a passionate shoemaker, and it led me to find ways where we can make footwear that has a benefit to nature in the terms of the materials that we source, the repairability and the ability to resole them. So it came from this angle, the direction of where we are now.
That is such an amazing journey. I'm sure in the beginnings, you were probably thinking like you're saying, I don't know how to make a shoe. I'm doing this because I love and have this passion, inspiration, but how do I do it? And I'm assuming like a lot of creators of barefoot shoes, you do take some form of like risk, right? Because you aren't too new to shoemaking, like you're saying, or you just don't know much about like what makes, a great quality barefoot shoes or functional shoes, I should say. So in the early days, were you really cautious or like, are you risk averse, meaning you're willing to take risks, or are you kind of more on the cautious side?
It's a good question. I believe I've been more on the risk side than on the cautious side because, for example, I was the first developing a barefoot safety. It was 8 years ago, and it came from a customer saying, "Look, I love wearing barefoot shoes. Can you make me protective barefoot safety shoe?" And I started exploring. I made my own toe caps using fiberglass, carbon fiber, Kevlar, epoxy, doing it bespoke. So I would make a shoe last with a 3D printing using my own scanning methods, very, very manual, remotely. Then I would use these uh, materials to create a toe cap that would fit perfectly. Then I did testing myself and trying different methods. And then I developed uh, a safety toe cap that is compliant, made professionally, and that was like the starting point. That was in 2020, and since then the whole thing started to become huge because there was a huge demand on people that are really conscious about their health, about how footwear has a direct impact on how we are every day, and these people need proper footwear in their working environments that are safe to use. That was already feels like a long time ago in this world of footwear, and now we see that there's a lot more offer in barefoot safety shoes. So I feel like I've been one of the pioneers in this movement of barefoot.
Yeah. So like explain to me, maybe the audience, like, so the type of people who are wearing these barefoot safety shoes, what type of work are they doing? Are they doing like construction, manual labor? Like who are they? I guess who is a typical demographics?
This is a good question. This at the beginning because it was all bespoke and completely handmade here by me. The kind of people that approach were probably been architects or engineers, or for example, a good customer in the US. She works in robotics and she ordered quite a few pairs of the ones I did bespoke uh, using horse leather and kangaroo leather and like really amazing leather that they are not suitable for mass production because they are
Mm.
only for artisan type shoes. then by offering a more affordable range, it allows more of the normal workers from warehousing to drivers and to access to this beneficial. So it depends on actually on the type of work, what kind of footwear you need. Not all the works have the same type of demand environment.
Hmm.
For example, today we are offering the safety trainers, which is this one. We won 3 awards just now for this design. And as you can see, this safety shoe completely revolutions the idea of how a safety shoe could be. It's light, hyper flexible.
Hmm.
It's a minimalist construction, but it complies with the safety standards for America and Europe, which is incredible. For Europe is the basic standard. For America is the SD10 plus the anti-puncture and the top. So in my first design was this one, which is the Carpenters. And this boot was like a revolution in 2020 when I launched it.
During COVID,
And
during
now
COVID times, right?
that was it, yeah, COVID time. And it went through many different phases. I used to do the most popular one was in reverse horse culata, which is an area of the horse leather that it has the amazing properties in terms of tear resistance and abrasion resistance. And yeah, so this is a peek of what's coming, and we can talk about it in a little while.
Sure. So you have this whole journey of people coming to you, you're hand making these, and eventually I'm sure there's a demand that start to follow because people are interested in the type of quality of work and the, like I said, I guess the craftsmanship, the sourcing of the different leather and materials. So kind of fast forwarding now, currently, how are you trying to meet all these needs of, your orders and demands of people trying to buy Gaucho? Because it's just you're the creator, the artisan. So how are you trying to like meet these demands?
So in this journey, about 2 years ago, we decided to do a slight change of the direction. That meant to find factories in Europe that could take my designs, my concept of how to make shoes into a more affordable offer. So more people could benefit from the type of footwear that I made. And it's been an amazing journey. I learned a lot in this process, and I had to spend many, many, many days and many different trips with the factories to teach them what I wanted to do, and then spending time with each worker in the factory. So it's not just like, I guess, normally you go to a factory, go to the office, chat what you like, show sketches, and go. And then you get a sample. I spend time with each one of the workers doing the tasks with them because I use all the machines, so I know how to do it.
Yeah.
And and for example, the one of the inventions, I would say a pioneer on that as well, is the Goodyear welted shoes. The concept of bring this very traditional method of putting shoes together from Britain to a barefoot shoe. And Goodyear welted is known for being super stiff, narrow, and you wear them a few hours and then it's like, God, I want to take the shoes out. And when I spend a couple of days with the factory in Spain and I show them, look, you can do this. They were like, no, that's impossible. That's impossible. We never seen that before. And it's like, what? But you made it. You know it's possible. And it's basically because I guess one of the I guess advantages of not having been trained by a shoemaker is that I think completely outside the box.
Yeah.
And if you go to Italy in maybe not now, but a few years ago, they would say, no. A shoe has to have a heel, it has to be pointy, and it has to have a shank, which is the metal part, so it doesn't sink when you put a heel, and you don't need to have it flexible. So it's like that's our heritage of this is how shoes should be
Passed down from
and now
generation, right?
yeah, and it comes from the medieval times or more of in the Renaissance. In Japan they used to bind the feet so they got constricted and they would deform. So it's been a very amazing journey, and now the field is that there's a lot more need for these quality crafted shoes. People are more conscious as well, not only on their own health, but on the health of the environment. At the end of the day, this is going to be for our children. And I want my children, I have 6-year-old twin boys. I want my children to live in a world where we don't have all the rubbish and the the bad stuff that our parents or grandparents did. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to contribute into having a better place to live. And for me, one of the ways to contribute is by creating shoes that can be repaired and resolved, and they use materials that are respectful for the environment and for the user. For example, one of the biggest debates is in the leather world is leather itself as a material.
Really? What?
95% of the leather is processed using heavy chemicals, chrome especially, and it's kind of a sort of a balance between, well, it's a subproduct from the meat industry, and on the other side, if you waste it, you don't do anything. It's a shame because you're just leaving aside a magnificent material that can
Mm-hmm.
be reused many times. And on the other side, if you use chrome, it's a high contaminant to the environment unless it's processed in a very expensive way, so it doesn't contaminate. Most third world countries, they don't have the facilities to clean this product. And then you have the other extreme, which is the vegan materials. And from what I've seen, most of the materials that are vegan friendly are made of heavy plastics that also contaminate, that they don't have the qualities of leather that can be treated with or conditioned so it lasts longer and fibers break, etc. So it's kind of, we need to find a balance on how to create a better world. And being a passionate leather worker, using veg tan leathers or chrome-free leathers, veg tan is even better, contributes to a very sustainable approach to keeping nature healthy. Veg tan leather, I don't know if you know, is a process of transforming the raw skin into leather by using bark of tree. So it takes something like 30 times more to do in this way. It's a very traditional method. And what allows is that the leather, the more you wear it, it develops a patina, which is a sheen that is beautiful. So it age with you. It molds your feet. It reacts with water. So water allows this expansion of the material. And by nourishing it, it's alive. It's kind of alive, the material. By nourishing it, it kind of keeps on growing with you, aging with you.
So everything that you're doing, you're trying to make it sustainable. You're trying to make it where it's, like I said, being able to repurpose, and like, so you're in the industry where you know, and that's interesting that you went to the factory and you're overseeing and teaching these and making sure that they are creating it the way that you would create it, right? And that you would do it because this is reflecting your work, your brand. It makes sense that you're there with the factory workers and making sure, like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be made. Let me, show you how it's done. Because I mean, as a brand, like, you want to reflect that, and that's great that you are there spending time. I mean, it does take time away from family and whatnot, but like, you're trying to create this movement of making quality barefoot shoes, safety shoes that people are coming to you back and forth, back again to, because they see the craftsmanship and the type of material that you have. With the way that barefoot shoes are made, where do you see the barefoot shoes industry evolving? Do you think there's going to be more brands that's going to be more like what you're doing, or are they going to be just mass producing? Because there are brands out there that, like I said, creating cheap plastic type of material that you can tell that it's not the greatest quality, that it's going to break down in the next year or two. Where do you see the future barefoot shoes evolving?
It's an interesting question. I talked about exactly this with Anya, Anya's review, and I resonate with what she said. She said that in the near future, maybe let's say 5 years, there will be a time where we don't talk about barefoot as a separate thing to what is foot shoes, because there's more and more awareness about how important the shape and the functionality of a shoe or a footwear has direct impact with our own health. And there's more and more awareness of, if I look after my feet, I'm preventing plantar fascia, bunions, back pain, knee pain. I can perform better at work. There's a lot of things that are beneficial today. And I tried to put these roller skaters on my feet. I was a size bigger and my feet were like, oh my God. I got this kind of pizza shape feet, trying to put them on a shape that it was chopping two of my toes. And the thing is that we come from that not long ago. All of what was available in the shoe industry was shaped that way. And I think one of the key players to create the grounds to what we are seeing today with barefoot shoes is the Birkenstock and Crocs. I think they hit the idea of creating a shoe that is asymmetrical and with less heel. It's still more like a transitional shoe. Now, if I put a Crocs or a Birkenstock, I feel like, oh, my feet are a bit cramped. But it was like, this is the way humanity as a I guess on a conscious global state is looking for. They are looking for things that are more shaped as human rather than as a concept in our mind, where the people that are designing these trends, they say, oh, you have to put your feet in this sort of shape, and then that's what we got. So yeah, this is kind of where I think the direction is going, is that more and more, and you can see it even now if you go to Micam or in Italy, where the whole fashion or the trends of the year are there, and you see, wow, there's more and more brands doing flexible shoes or foot shaped shoes or flat, but are not really barefoot. But there's more and more options into, and then you see the big top players, Loewe, Margiela, all the top designers, they are doing barefoot shoes. And it makes me think, wow, if they are doing it, and in a way it's contradictory, because they've been promoting all the other thing, and now they say, actually, barefoot shoes is the trend. But it's like, but you're selling next to it another thing that is completely the opposite. Yeah. So for me, sacred geometry is something that has been inspiring me for, I could say, 15 years. And I don't know if you know the context about sacred geometry, but it follows the principles of Fibonacci, which he was an Italian mathematician. And basically, by observing a pattern in nature, he found like a constant that if you follow it, there's some sort of aesthetic beauty, and you can see it in details in nature, like in a shell or in a leaf, how when it's unfolding, or even in the universe. For example, the pattern between the orbital dance between Earth and Venus. Venus makes some petal-like pattern of 5 points, and it follows that very, very similar pattern of Fibonacci, which is the 1.618, the ratio. So basically, I was inspired on this idea of the pattern, and drawing. I found that if I follow the pattern, this spiral type shape, and put it in a fourfold way, what happens in the center is the star of the ninja, the shuriken. And I found the star within the shuriken. It made me realize that the whole brand identity is following this aesthetic of beauty and golden ratio. So the peak, you can see it here, the ratio, yeah, and this is what's coming.
All the outsoles of your upcoming collections will have that geometry, the sacred geometry on the outsole. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Also, on the composition of the uppers, there are traces of this movement of Fibonacci. So this collection is, in a way, an upgrade to what we've been offering so far on the Goodyear welted. There's more interesting things that are going to happen with the sole, and because the sole is like the soul of the shoe, and the sole reflects so many things on the shoe. You put a different sole and the whole thing changes. It's incredible. And what we're going to bring in as well, there are some we're going to bring some ninja footwear as well with this idea of Fibonacci, and also improved version of our carpenter boots. We heard so much feedback about these boots, and we put it in practice. We like to respond to what people say. And then we respond, and this is the result. So this is coming, and it's going to be, when we launch it, it's going to be already with a certification in place, so it's ready to go.
When can people expect this for the release to happen?
So we're going to have them in stock by the end of May, beginning of June, and we're going to do a pre-order campaign, which will have an early benefit for those who want to believe first. I think pre-order campaigns are about believing early. It's about supporting small brands into creating something beautiful. And we are a very small team. We're 2 people working full-time on this massive project. And by having the support of our followers, we can create better offers, better compositions, better shoes, keep on delivering the best service. This is what's happening. We also do how do you call them? The giveaway. So there's going to be a lucky winner. The best way is to subscribe to our newsletter. You can scroll down on our website to the footer, and then you will be subscribed. And also another channel that we like to use a lot is Instagram and YouTube. Those are the 3 main channels that we use. The website is Gaucho.Ninja. There's the links in there to all the different social medias. In Instagram, we are Gaucho _Ninja. And in YouTube, I believe we are Gaucho Ninja Barefoot Shoes on the channel.
Thank you, Lee, for helping on the podcast. And of course, showcasing your shoes, take your time, and of course,
a pleasure, Ian. Really nice to meet you, and looking forward for more collaboration.
Yeah, like this.
Thank you. Have a great day.